Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Two Have and Two Roll podcast. My name is Oliver. I am but one half of your hosting duo. With me, as always, is my co-host and wife, Robin. Hey, Robin.
Hello, everyone.
And today we are going to be continuing our recap of Empire E4, the Autumn Equinox. Before we get into that, though, the usual housekeeping. If you are watching this on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. If you're not also already subscribed, then hit that subscribe button. We are fast approaching that 1K subscriber mark, so if you could help us get over that hump, that would be greatly appreciated. If you are listening on your favorite audio platform, you can give us a 5-star review. That just helps people find us, helps the algorithm gods sort us out. And with all that out of the way, let's get into our recap of Empire LARP E4.
Last time we left off just about to speak about a really exciting tourney. So before we get into that, I would like to do a special shout out to a couple of wonderful friends of ours and fellow Empire creators. The first one created something absolutely beautiful for us that made us cry and many others. This beautiful piece of art displaying Godric and Aranel dead in the glory square, covered in flowers and tokens of appreciation, of love, of admiration. There are so many details in this painting, and this is something that everybody can come over to the House Mortaire tent and view for themselves, and they can see all the little details. You can come and view this beautiful piece of art at the Mortaire House tent next event. And you can speak to the artist herself in character or out of character. Missy, or Rosalind Redgrave in character, paints all these beautiful pieces of art. And she does this for in-character currency, with the OC cost covered as well for things like the printing. We have an A4 printout there, but she does a variety of sizes. This is an actual canvas as well.
Yeah, so it's digital art printed onto canvas to give that effect. So this is the, like Robin just said, this is the A4 one. Missy does a 3 as well, right? So
yeah, she does. Just so many wonderful pieces. She then hand paints the border in a really lovely gold. It's so cool. It looks so wonderful in character. You can commission her. She's actually open now for commissions, and we will put links to everything in the description of this video so that you can commission something of your own LARP character or LARP group. She's done some wonderful group pieces as well.
Yeah. If you head over to Missy Pena Art, her website, you'll see all the examples. I'll put all the links down below. And yeah, for your LARP commissions, head over to Missy. Full disclosure, Missy's part of our group as well. So but yeah, definitely you can see the quality.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely wonderful. Another pretty cool thing that happened this event is after Lady Aranel died, she had a pile of letters to be sent out to people that she didn't get the opportunity to send. See, I did have them all written ready to go, and I forgot to bring them to the event. So I had gotten in touch with the wonderful Nims Noms, who has the Nims Noms postal service done by the brilliant Abi. And I had organized for these letters to get posted. Then I died, and then I got in touch with Abi and was like, how would you feel about going around and not only delivering these letters, but also delivering the news of what happened? And she did an incredible job. So I gave her all the letters, and she went around and delivered letters to many different house groups and a couple of different nations, complete with cake as well, delivered the story. And then for the rest of the event, I had people coming up to me saying that they had received a letter from somebody who had recently passed away in my house. And I'm standing there with a straight face being like, oh, I wonder what that said.
Yeah, we'll talk about, like, this type of thing happened quite a bit as well when and we'll talk about that as well. The thing when your character dies and then being another character, and then things happen that involve your last character. It's a bit odd.
I think what made it a wee bit easier for us is that our new characters technically knew the ones that died. They fought with them in the barons. They would have seen them in the house. So there was that slight connection that we could at least be like, yes, they were very capable fighters. You know, we knew that part and everything. But still, you're hearing all these tales and just like, sure, this is great.
Yeah. So shout out to Nims. Is it called Nims Noms?
Nims
Noms postal service.
Yeah. And she's in the Navarre camp. And we'll put links to everything in the bottom, because what she normally does is puts up a post in the Empire LARP Facebook group with all the details so that people can obviously go up, and all you do is you literally head up to her in character, give her the letters, give her the coin, and she goes ahead and gets those delivered. She's also the one who does the big notice board at the bottom of Navarre as well.
Yeah, you know, that's a real handy notice board where that's situated, right outside. Well, it's technically in Navarre. It's just outside the woods, I guess.
Yeah. It's just like at that sort of entrance, isn't it, on the main road up past Elite?
Yeah, it was only this year that I found out that the camps in the woods are a little bit displaced, because I didn't realize so much of Wintermark was in the woods until this year. I always thought the entirety of that bit of the woods was Navarre, and then across the road outside of the woods there's a load of Navarre outside of the woods as well there. So I hadn't realized. I always thought that was literally, it was just like Navarre in the woods, and then it went into the league, but there's actually quite a chunk of Navarre like outside of those woods as well.
Yeah, it's like what we have in Dawn as well, though, because we have Brass Coast on the Dawn side of the hedge, don't we?
I know. They're like we're running out of room on the Dawn field, and I'm like, well, we're hosting a load of Freeborn. I mean, there's still plenty of room. There's still plenty of room. It's funny when you go around the camps, and the camp planners will hate me for saying this, but
do not piss off the camp planners.
Piss off the camp planners, but you do go around.
He does not speak for all of House Mortar.
You go around to some of the. The Dawn camp planning is because they do really an amazing. Firstly, it's like a thankless job. You know, even if I say thank you, and I do mean thank you for doing the job. It is. I've done jobs like that in the past voluntarily, and it's always difficult. You're not going to make everybody happy, and it's tough. But what I mean is, like, they're given like a little zone to like go, right, okay, Dawn has to fit in there, and then when you're actually there, you're just like, I know there's obviously, you know, you need space for emergency vehicles to go up and down, but there's times where I'm like, well, there's a whole like corner here, there's like half an acre here not even used, and we walked up to the league several times, and I'm like, there's loads of room out here. There's tons of it. You could fit another 50 tents in here. I'm kidding, but
it is quite funny. Yeah. I was speaking to them this time, and they'd changed like the Dawn sort of layout online just to sort of actually show a bit more realistically what sort of space we have there. There's also cool IC maps available of Dawn, drawn by Missy.
Yeah, exactly.
Also available.
Missy Pena.
This episode was sponsored by. Oh dear.
So
right.
Anyway,
so
let's get into
the main events of what happened. So there was this incredible tourney. Now before we
well, actually, we should set the scene again.
We should set the scene again.
So last we left off in our recap, we had this was Saturday. So the second day we had gone out to battle as our nation very successfully. Oh, probably another bit of housekeeping before we go. Like, I've been corrected on a few bits and pieces, and I can't remember a lot of the corrections. So apparently we achieved every single objective. So we didn't miss anything. It was a complete victory. Dawn lost 3 people on the battle. And we were way more tied to the drama that also happened that we sort of missed, but you mentioned last time. So apparently, the body that was being ransomed back was Sir Kay, who had there's the body of Sir Kay who had hallowed Sir Toots, and it was House Delacorn, and the Black Garden Coven was involved, and House Mortaire was involved in that drama. We just didn't realize until after the fact. Just us personally, you went, oh, there was some drama going on. It seemed crazy, and then it wasn't until after we recorded the podcast we were like, yeah, people like said, oh yeah, no, like yeah, we like our group was heavily involved in that. By the way, I was like, oh.
Do you know what's so funny though? It's when that was all happening, you and I were sitting in the RSL tent, being like, it's too hot to move. It's too hot to do anything. We're like, something's happening there. Sure, it's nothing to do with us. I stay here. There's cold water being served. I don't know how they got it cold, but I was very happy.
yeah. I just because it was so hot. So as a reminder as well, it was like it must have been. It felt like 30 degrees or something. It was so hot.
Yeah.
And especially on like dawn on top of that hill. There's not really any respite from the sun. I mean, that's one thing if you are in the woods. I mean, I know a couple of people had said, oh yeah, we went over to the Navarre camp and the Wintermark camp to just to chill out because it's so much cooler under the trees. But like right on that glory square, there's not really much escape from the sun. So we spent most of Saturday in the middle of the day, just in that Orzel tent and just chilling out. But we watched a couple of tournaments, and then the main event happened. So do we want to do a little preface to this as well, since we did
Go
it
on
last
then.
time?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I got it right last time. So Dame Aurum, who is the general for the Eastern Sky, one of the Dawnish armies, had cast challenge the Iron Duke, which is a ritual we've talked about a lot on this podcast. It is a ritual that basically summons forth the attention of an Eternal from the Summer Realm called Barbarian, who then sends one of his heralds to come and gather information from you first, and then comes back to issue you a challenge. And this challenge was to Dawn, not just the general, and the reward was a boon to Dawn. So this challenge took the form of a tournament where the Dawnish champions were to face Barian's team. And I don't think did anyone actually know, because I know it was a surprise to us and people going, oh, we don't know what is coming. So in character, was there any clue as to who was coming for?
I don't know actually, because I think we kind of did know, because I remember people saying who was going to be coming, but that was quite close to when the tourney started. So I don't know if maybe that news was like quite close. The tourney was like, by the way, these things are going to be coming through the camps. Don't kill them on the way.
Don't kill them on the way. Yeah. So yes, they were So yeah. So the herald, the Baron's heralds were there anyway with them. But they all came up. So anyway, we're all at the Glory Square. We're waiting to go. Right, it's going to begin. We knew technically we know all the champions anyway, but we knew they were getting ready and they were all getting G'd up for it. So the Dawnish champions had been chosen. And they knew it was going to be a 2-on-2 battle, right? Combat.
Yeah.
They knew that. We knew that much. I'm saying we knew. They were the ones that needed to know. So they knew it was going to be a 2-on-2 combat style tournament, a proper Dawnish tournament, right? So it was basically a fight till I don't think there was any rules of engagement, were there really? Apart from it was 2-on-2. So anything went. I think magic and magic was all good, and any ability, any weapon was okay from what I could understand. Anyway, we're standing at the glory, and this is when I did brave the heat. I'm like, no, I'm going to need to get a good position here to watch this. So as we're watching, there is a procession of orcs being brought up the road to the glory square, and their weapons and their colors were like purple, so they were Grendal, right? So
they're Grendal.
So we've mentioned Grendal on the podcast. They are a barbarian nation that we have been in a peace treaty with, and there's been so while we've been playing, Robin and I have been playing the past couple of years, we haven't been at war, so we've been under this treaty with the Grendal years previous, so we haven't actually fought the Grendal on the battlefield personally, but a lot of players that we play with have, and they'll talk about the Grendel. So the Grendel are like they're pirate princes basically. They are they have lots of fleets and they like to accumulate wealth and things like that. So Berian had basically sent a load of Grendel to come and fight the Dawnish champions. So the Grendel were obviously being played by, I'm assuming, a mixture of the NPC and skirmish crew.
Yeah, this was like a spectacular performance. I mean, seriously, the people who if it was skirmish or NPC, like the people who were playing these Kit Grendel put on such an incredible show. When they all sort of arrived and everything, and their weapons were badass. Like they had some pretty cool looking weapons.
There was the one with the trident. It was
the huge flail.
Yeah,
who ended up being a crowd favorite. We'll get to that one.
Yeah, and they really. So it seemed to be. So I'm assuming that that Nat, who plays Aurum, had a lot to do with organizing it and the feel of it as well, because it very much felt like the feel was that they were going for was like, we want this to be like a WWE pro wrestling thing, because the Grendel, as soon as they came up, they were starting to like establish characters. As soon as they came up, they were like, they had the one Grendel who was like they were shorter, but they were like the manager. They were like the WWE manager, you know, and they were like, I'm the team manager. And they were like puffing their chest out. There was there was two in particular that while they were in the Glory Square waiting for the Dawnish to like muster up and everyone to gather around. So the Grendel are all in the Glory Square, and obviously they're all like, they're talking to people around the crowd as well. Again, they're like establishing,
like gearing them up a little bit, like, you know,
characters.
I'm kind of the villain character, I'm the good character.
Yeah, and there was two that they were like, I think they were like, I don't know whether they said they were brothers or something like that, but they sort of had that kind of bond going on, and then they literally started scrapping with each other, like before, like right in there, and there was and they broke them up, you know, and we were like, okay, and then and then we had they had like, and then we had a proper announcement, so we had proper like walk-ons, didn't we?
Yeah, so basically every single champion who came on had someone there to announce them, to gear them up. Think Knight's Tale. It was a Knight's Tale. That's what we had. Yeah. And every single person who came on had someone there to announce them, to talk about their great deeds, to set them up for the crowd. And then the Grendel did the same, because we're sitting listening, because we were like at the side where we had the Grendel next to us, and you could hear them being like, they got to introduce everyone. Yes. Do we need to introduce? Who's introducing me? They were like doing this whole back.
It was funny because we were like right next, because we were right behind the Grendel, weren't we, when we were stood watching? And I remember saying, oh, they're going to do this for all of them, because how many? Do you even know the numbers of how many teams there were? There was a few.
Was it 10? Was it 10 teams?
I
might be wrong.
No, it's 5 teams, 10 people. That's
what.
Yeah, that's right. Because of the scoring. Yeah, because of the scoring.
Yeah. So, 5 teams, 10 people. Yeah.
So it's 5 teams. So there's 10 people, and everybody had their own troubadour to announce them, which was it was the most Dawnish thing ever. So when the Grendel were like, "Oh, they're going to do this for everyone," we were like, "Yeah, of course we are." You know, so everyone, and also it gives like all the troubadours game as well. So like.
And while this was happening as well, this happened throughout the whole tournament as well, there was these beautiful hand-painted signs that said things like, you know, like boo, cheer, laugh. And we had the people running around with these, like around the side to gear the crowd up.
So it was a real, it was, again, it was like thinking like a Knight's Tale WWE style, and that, you know, because I think they had that in Knight's Tale, the film, right? They had the people going, boot, cheer and clap.
It was the way they were like running, skipping around the square with it as well, and everything. It was just, it was such an amazing atmosphere.
It was buzzing, wasn't it? Absolutely buzzing.
Oh, it was buzzing. There was so many people, so many nations. It was just packed. We were up, because we literally came out the Orzel tent and came there. We were up like near where most of the Grendel were, and luckily, a little OC shout out and a little reminder to everyone to drink lots of water when it's this hot. We had benches set up with all the water out for everybody. It's quite funny every so often when you see someone do that little character break, like, huh, I'm here as a big, scary Grendel. Yeah, just one cup of water.
Yeah, I mean that. I think everyone overcame. Like, I'll say this now while I remember. Like, one of the biggest challenges everyone overcame was the heat, because
Yeah.
obviously, it was a tournament that was it was active, and people were actually, they were doing fighting, jumping around in armor. It was tough, but everyone did a real good job. Everyone was looking out for each other.
Yeah.
Everyone did an amazing job. But yeah, they announced everyone. We had one of the nobles from House Ramis was the MC on the Dawnish side.
Oh.
So we had basically, then obviously the person who was sort of playing the manager of the Grendel was like MCing their side, so they were playing off each other, because we were doing very Dawnish stuff, like, oh, this is the, like you say, we were introducing people, celebrating all their accolades, and
Yes.
the Grendel were kind of taking the mickey a bit, doing the same type of thing, really playing to the crowd. And then so like we had just said, so there was five teams of two, so it was 2-on-2 combat. The first two fights went to the Dawnish. Now, so the second fight was between the two Grendel that were
Right.
basically fighting in the, I think it was the second one.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, so the Grendel that I mentioned before, the two of them that fought each other before it even kicked off, they were in a team, and they were fighting the Dawnish, but then the one of them was just like, and they were winning, they were beating the Dawnish, and then one of them just turned on the other Grendel. And it was just...
Yeah, it was the one with like the huge flail that's halfway through, and this one's like, haha, and just starts beating the other Grendel, and then
yeah,
yeah,
so
like,
good.
and then they were like pulled off by like the manager, like, oh, that's enough, pulled
It was
off.
so
But
perfect.
everyone cheered for this Grendel, so they came on a second time for one of the other rounds after that, because everyone's just like, yeah, let's get them back.
Oh, it was so pro wrestling, just like, oh yeah, we're teammates. No, turn around. It was so good.
Oh, it was also one of the Grendel was there as a healer. And they just walked around at the end, like once everybody was on the ground, and whether they were Dawnish or Grendel, just being like, look, heal.
Yeah, so the healers
heal.
were, yeah, because we had Imperial healers, and we had Grendel healer, the Grendel healer coming in. That got a little bit tense towards the end as well, because then the healer they were trying to stop the healers coming out and things like that, which was funny. There's so much went on that we can't really recap everything without
it was
taking
amazing.
5
Like,
hours,
I mean,
but...
the actual fight in itself also was a mixture of your typical LARP fighting that we're quite used to, but also some choreography in there as well. And they all did quite well. Now, I need to speak to the people involved, or maybe not. Maybe I'll leave this as just like,
maybe someone will come on and actually tell us how they do this. Maybe.
Because when each sort of pair went to start the fight, they started getting into habit of the two Imperial and two Grendel like heading over to each other in the middle and having a quick chat beforehand. And then they did some really cool, badass things. And I wasn't too sure if they were like planning some of it or not.
That's what they were doing, yeah. Because obviously,
it was so well done.
It was theatrics, because obiously they looked like they were going up and obviously facing off. You know what I mean? But they were
doing this sort of face off.
Yeah, I imagine they were going, okay, how do you want this to go? Okay. Again, because it was crew that were doing the Grendel, they were doing their job to basically facilitate the fun of the players. That was their thing. They weren't holding back in some of them though. Like they were.
Oh no, they were not. They were going for it, and the fight that really went for it, I felt, was the last one.
Yeah. One thing I'll say, because you mentioned the flails. Now flails, LARP flails, they are. This is where they are their best, because we've talked about flails before. So flails look like they're super unsafe, and you're not pulling blows because of, I don't know, physics, I guess. I can think about it in my head, but basically the physics of, because there's no lever arm between the handle and the actual end that you're hitting with. So it's a bit like a nunchuck. Like you can hit something harder with a stick than you can with a nunchuck. But the thing with a nunchuck or an actual real flail is that you have a weight on the end, so you have a pendulum effect going on. With LARP weapons, the ball on the end of the pendulum is so light when you do this, that there's no force generated whatsoever. But because it is a big ball of foam covered in like latex, which makes a slapping sound when it hits something. It sounds like, so when you hit someone with a flail, it goes crack, you know. So if you're hitting someone with a sword and you hear that, you're like, whoa, you're not pulling that blow. But with the flails, you can go for it, and it
Yeah.
looks aggressive, which is perfect for this type of fighting, because basically they were like people were going down, and the Grendel were getting their flails and just like it looked like they were wailing on it looks aggressive. It looks like wailing on the people, and obviously as they're getting hit, people are doing their role play, and they're going and then they crashing to the ground. It had the best look. So flails are really cool for that type
Oh,
of stuff.
honestly, like that flail, the trident, just the overall the fighting role play, the stunts that were put in from both sides as well, the rolling over one another's backs, the back flipping through everything. They did everything, and the grappling.
Yeah.
They did a lot of actual grappling. That's actually my first time seeing LARP grappling as well, so that was really cool to watch.
Yeah, it was so good. So we ended up with so it ended up being 2-2. So we had 2 victories on the side of the Dawnish. We had 2 victories on the side of the Grendal, and then the last fight came in.
So the last fight was the anticipated. Well, I was definitely anticipating this one. This is the fight that had Dame Orm and Zoran in there fighting. Our 2 of our generals in there fighting against the Grendel. And there was a little bit of, I remember beforehand, there was a question of, are the Grendel going to play fair at this bit at the end? Because there was a lot of anticipation. No, they didn't. This was brutal. Before we knew it, the fight started, and this was more like actual LARP fighting at first. I was like, oh, they're going for it.
Whoa.
And then it was when a third Grendel ran in to start attacking, and it was just it was just standing there as Thrash just instantly tapped a warrior who was ready to go, jumped over the side and just straight into join. And before we knew it, it was just like, it was incredible. It looked a bit hairy at one moment, like Zoran was down, and it was like, what's happening? And then Dame Orm is just there taking on 2 Grendel by themselves, just being like, and it was just, it was so good. Epic.
Everyone got them. Every Dawnish hero got like their moment.
They all got a moment.
Yeah, it was so cool. And then there was lots of it was so pro wrestling as well, and it was just exactly what I wanted when I saw these like LARP tournaments and things like that, because I'm a bit of a pro wrestling fan. I just because I love the theatrics of it, and I love the theatrics plus combat and the cheesiness of it as well, and the baby faces versus the heels and things like that, and the cheating from the Grendel, and then like I said, there was people stopping like the healers coming in, and then there was people attacking the healers, and then obviously people were going, oh well, that's not on, that goes against the rules of engagement, and the manager of the Grendel was kicking off at the end.
Amazing. It was Lady Remise that the manager was kicking off at, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then
gosh.
Then Lady Remise like just did a good old
it was badass though.
She did a groin shot and put them down.
Well, before that though, she just did this beautiful thing where it just went took off her flower crown, handed it over to someone, and then got him. Like it was just that typical hold this for me, okay. Like I'm the wrong person to mess with.
and then the Grendel turned on their manager.
Yeah, because he didn't agree with what he had done. They all got a big circle around.
Yeah, because they were like, the manager wasn't having it. It's like, no, you cheated, la la la, and the Grendel were just like, no, because he was running his mouth, or they were running their mouth, sorry, and then the Grendel left, and wow, it was something else, wasn't it? One thing I will say as well, there was a new player on the other side of the glory square from us, right? Your dad was there, and I've never seen a bigger smile on his face. The person who was like, oh, yeah,
I've never seen him smile like that.
Yeah, I'm not a nerd. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. He was a bit overwhelmed on the Thursday, maybe even the Friday, just like someone who's never done anything like this before. Him watching that tournament, I'm like, I remember looking over at him, like, you've caught the match. This is your moment of like, this is what you'll remember on the drive home. That it was one of those moments. So yeah, all in all, I think the only thing that was disappointing about it was that, you know what, Godric and Aranel would have been really freaking good in it.
No!
You know, Godric and Aranel would have been like an amazing team.
They would have just done some really cool fighting. It'd be sickeningly sweet.
Yeah, but apart from that, I think it's one of the best things I've ever seen at LARP. It was great. So I mean, again, it's a little bit subjective because it's something that I particularly enjoyed. But NPC crew and skirmish crew. I know a few of you are watching. Mike, you're probably watching. Take this as our feedback. More of that, please. More of that, because that was everybody enjoyed that.
We'll also fill in an actual official feedback form, which everyone can do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll reiterate that as well. Like, if you enjoy when you go to like Empire, because it is a small crew, is a large player base. The NPC crew, skirmish crew, actually most of the crews, but specifically those crew, they'll obviously go out, do their thing, and then just come back. They don't get to see that they get to have that initial reaction with you, but they don't get that, oh, did they enjoy it or did they not enjoy it type thing. So if you have something that you really enjoyed, a skirmish, an encounter tent, an encounter in the field with an NPC or a monster, then email them, say, hey, that was all, we all loved it, I loved it, and that they then know what to focus on going forward. Go, okay, the players love it when we do that, let's do more of that type of stuff, because we're paying customers and they want to give us what we want. So for me, that if we could have one of those at least once a year, that type of thing. Obviously, I'm not expecting Oran to organise one every year, but
I am.
Those types of things. Well, the thing is, these types of tournaments are super. I know that they're things that people talk about for years, though, because I know Mark talks a lot about the one they did for the summer tournament that they did. I know they did it a couple of years ago as well, where they had the teams, and I know there was the one we saw. The summer tourney with the mages, that was really good. All those types of tournaments. The people talk about, there was a tournament before where there was lots of different. It wasn't just it was an internation. It was more like an Olympics style thing where you had like other nations that we weren't at war with. So like people from different like foreign nations basically coming and taking part. So like NPCs were coming and taking part in big tournaments, and apparently had bleachers there at one point. So yeah, we definitely like all that. Thing is that type of thing, even though it was in Dawn, the entirety of the field has an excuse to come to Dawn for that type of things. It's like it's to do with the Empire, not just Dawn as well. But Dawn's usually good at holding those because of our brief, because it's a tournament brief,
Yeah, exactly. It was just it was just so good. And like you said as well, like seeing my clock of my dad directly across the glory square, not even looking at us, just been like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Just absolutely loving it. But anyway, we talked like half an hour about that one tournament.
It deserved it.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it deserved it. It was a highlight of the weekend. What was great is the fact that we're involved as an audience. We weren't literally involved as characters, but it was it was definitely a highlight of the weekend in general. You have the list of order. Like, what on earth do we do?
I do have the list of order.
The list of order.
So the list of order.
The list of order.
Written in a Lannister notebook. I don't know what that tells us. So next, we actually waited around a bit because we were going to be fighting an attorney. And we decided we're not going to go shower and stuff now. We'll wait until we fight and then we'll go shower. Mm-hmm. At this point, it got so incredibly hot, I decided, I think you did as well, we didn't bother with any armor.
Oh,
It
no,
was
yeah.
just, it was too hot.
Yeah.
So we went around and went fight into another tourney because an icy friend of ours had come over and pitched. And we were like, yeah, we're gonna fight for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, this tourney, what do you remember the name of it? I've
Yeah,
completely forgotten the
I
name.
think it was called the Champion in Waiting. I'm not
That
entirely
was
sure
it.
what the entire outcome of it. My understanding, I had a good understanding because I was speaking to the person who had organised it or come up with the idea.
Yeah.
So the idea is that okay, I may as well explain this. So uh, when Dawn used to be used to have a monarchy. So we were a kingdom before we were part of the empire. The first empress was the Queen of Dawn because she married the King of Dawn through a test of ardor, and that it's an amazing story. It's a story
Yeah.
that specific story. If you're coming to Empire, go ask some troubadours about that story because it is a really cool Dawnish story, and it's an imperial story. So if you are the emperor, the empress, whatever the throne is calling themselves, you do have you have the right to prove yourself to be the monarch of Dawn as well. And
Yeah.
it is a thing. So if a Dawn, I think to be fair, I think if a Dawnish person takes the throne, they are automatically they automatically have they're already the monarch of Dawn, basically. But if you're not Dawnish, then you can take a test of metal put forward by Dawn to become the monarch of Dawn. So, which is I mean, you don't have to, but it's a good idea. Basically, we're going into in character politics. Basically, if we have someone on the throne and they want to curry favor with the Dawnish, then proving yourself is a very good way to do that through a test of metal. So it's big brownie points to be like, hey, I want to be the king or queen of Dawn as well, and I will prove to my Dawnish citizens that I am Dawnish as well as your emperor, empress, things like that. But obviously, there needs to be a test set. So the idea of this tournament was to choose someone to have a test ready for whoever wants to be the monarch of Dawn. I mean, I think it was just the monarch of Dawn. Ideally, if it's the throne, then yeah. But it was basically to have that lined up. I don't actually know what the outcome of the. I know who won. I don't know how whether it went forward or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know because last I heard it had been put forward to
Synod.
Senate.
Well, no. Well, yeah, because this was all
the name is.
I don't know. Yeah, because basically the National Assembly, which is all our priests, basically they had something to do with it. They were the ones that say whether yay or nay or something. So I don't know. Someone can put in the comments how it all works. And what actually happened in there. But anyway, our job was just to go fight in the tournament because we said we were going to go fight. And as Robin already said, we didn't bother with armor and hardly anyone was anyway. So you didn't really feel like you were at a disadvantage because you weren't wearing armor because everyone was just fighting in their shirts.
I think I put on my pauldrons.
Yeah,
I think that was the only reason I put it on was just to actually real life protect because I didn't have a lot over my collarbone area and I was like I really don't want to take a hit there, so I'm just gonna it wasn't gonna give me any more hit points.
You
had
it
was
your
just
polyplate though, didn't you? So
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
I did
but I'm saying that luckily this is the first event you've ever had polyplate.
Oh yeah, there's no way I could put my steel ones on.
Yeah, you're glad of polyplate because that's one thing I do like about polyplate is it's lightweight, it's easy to put on.
But that was the thing. I was like, I want to shove that on because that way, at least if I do get any hits around my shoulder or my collarbone area, it's not going to actually be painful. I'm going to be padded. So yeah, I mean, I was in there for longer than I expected or wanted to be.
I wasn't in there long at all. I mean, because I only had 2 hits. So yeah, I was like, I'm going to go shatter a load of things because I still had I'm like, well, I've got 3 hero points to go because we'd chilled out in Leonian Pavilion as well
Yeah.
since the morning. So I was like, cool. I've got 3 hero points. I'll go shatter some things. I saw my friends straight away, and I was like, I'm gonna go shatter their shit. So I just went and then yeah, it was quite hilarious. And one person was like, one of our friends was stood next to me fighting, and he'd like gone, oh, I've only got 1 hit apparently, and I can't remember why he only had 1 hit. Whether he'd already taken a hit or something like that and hadn't recovered, or so. I think there was a reason, and
It was the Night Protector tourney a couple of hours earlier. So if
possibly,
they had,
yeah,
that might have been,
well, I think, how long does it take you to recover hit points though? It doesn't take that long.
I don't know.
I think it's only like half an hour rest or something. But anyway, anyway, he took 2. Like, I had 2. He had 1. It was just like the first contact. It was like, bang. He was like, oh wait, I've only got 1, and it went down. And yeah, I got yeah. As soon as you get surrounded, then that's it, done. And I was like, right, okay. Oh no, that's what happened. No, my weapon got shattered. That's what happened. So my weapon got shattered, and I was just like. I don't even think I didn't even get taken. I was just like, oh well, I guess I'll leave.
Oh, you did, yeah.
That's right, yeah. So
I had the 2 hits, and I was fine. I'm a 3 hero points. Oh, this is fine. I had my cool strike down. I thought, this is good fun. Strike down. Weren't
you were in there
expecting
forever,
that.
yeah.
And then someone cleaved my leg, and I forgot I had relentless.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. You get new character, new abilities, because I saw you go down, and I was like. I turned to the person who I'd shattered their weapon. Like, we both went out at the same time. We were laughing about it, and then I was like, I'm pretty sure I turned to him. I was like, Nymeria's got relentless. Why is she on the floor? Maybe she's out of here. Thing is, I didn't give you the benefit of the doubt and think, oh, she's obviously out of hero points. I just knew. I knew you'd forgotten that you had taken.
Totally forgotten.
Relentless.
So I was like down on the ground. I was properly, because I'm very much like, look, if your leg is cleaved, you can't kneel on it. You're down on the ground. So I had like my whole like side and like hip down on the ground. And our egregore came over and was like, are you out? Do you want me to take it out? And I was like, I've just got a cleaved leg. I've still got 1 hit point left. I'll probably be fine. I had 2 hero points and I'm there. Somebody fell next to me and I was like, oh, you okay? What's happened? Like, oh, I'm down. I'm bleeding out. And I was like, okay, well, stay with me because I've got a hero point.
What? Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, because I remember I was like, "What is she doing?" And then you were like, "Stay with me." I'm like, she could have just.
Because it was someone on our team. So then I was so hot. I was like, "Will someone hit me? Just hit me."
It was one of those. Yeah.
I was literally hitting people, and no one was getting me. And then someone came over and they fixed my leg. So I was like, "Okay," and I ran in and I used my last hero point. I did strike down. All of them fell down, and I was against 3 of them, and I ran at them thinking, good, they'll take me down, and they all stepped back, and I was like,
thought you had another strike down, you see?
Nothing left. Yeah. It was the Duke of Ains got me. They got me. Just with that huge weapon, just to like, they got like a whole row, and I was like, yes, finally, it's time.
It's time.
Take me out.
Somebody kill me.
But I think I did something quite dramatic when I went down. I got given a traumatic wound.
Oh yeah, you got given a traumatic wound. Yeah, I mean that's
yeah, and I got taken.
When you get a traumatic wound in a tournament. Yeah.
Oh, and I was so happy to get that because then I got taken out and they took me into our cell, and I was quite hot and sore on my back and everything. And I remember whispering to someone, being like, could this be healed in a sitting position on a bench? And then they picked me up and put me onto the bench and like lifted my side of my top up. And it was actually Lady Nynaeve who healed me. And she like stitched up my side and we did lots of cool role play and it was really cool. So it worked out great.
Yeah. Tournaments.
Then we went and showered.
Yeah. So after that, straight after that, I was like, I'm going to shower. We redid all of our makeup and all of our everything, and I went because it was starting to cool down now because it was. That was the one thing. It was hot, but it was September, so the sun was going. It wasn't just as, the days weren't as long as it was in June, so it started getting a lot cooler around about like 5-6 o'clock.
Yeah, because it was like. So I think so many people were wanting that cold shower. So I waited for when the cold showers to be available. And I went in and I had a satin cap and I put my whole wig under it, and I just showered with the wig on, which was really difficult. And then just like grabbed all my stuff and then went into the proper long showers to go do my makeup. That way the cold shower was free for other people to just jump in and get that cold shower. I got to a point where I was like, there is a hose right here. Would anyone say anything if I just start hosing myself down?
Yeah.
We start taking a swimsuit so we can like hose ourselves down outside and then go into the cubicles to get done.
Yeah, no, it's probably a good idea actually. Probably good. But that's the thing. So usually you don't want to like, because taking a shower can, obviously if there's a queue, can take, you know, a couple of hours out of your game. But it was so hot, we were like, you know what? Because I was determined. I was like, no, it's Saturday. You know, I'm so done from the heat. I think I just need to sit down for 3 or 4 hours, not do anything. And then we had a little scrap, and then go, right, okay, I'm gonna go shower, get into back, because I was literally just wearing like a shirt and I wasn't in my decent kit either, so because it was too hot to wear it. So
yeah, same. I was like, I wanted to put like my cool dress and everything on, so we got sorted out. I think you were out before me, and then we all met back up at the tent, got ourselves ready.
Saturday night was really cool, wasn't it? Saturday night was
so many things happened Saturday night.
Yeah, so many things happened. One thing I will, so actually I don't know the order of a lot of these things. We're just going to say them as they come to my mind. One thing that we were away and we came back. Our house, I mean, like, a load of Imperial Orcs had been by, and they left a gift.
The Red Hands, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was the Red Hands. I think there was a couple of others as well, but it was mainly the Red Hands that had come round, and they left a gift for Lady Aranel, Night Protector of Winter. They had. So I can't. Can you remember? Because one of our house members has it, because it was gifted to the house for Lady Aranel. It was hallowed. What was it hallowed to?
That's what I'm trying to remember actually, because by the time we got there, it was like the person was away at that point. So it was a brooch that they were given, and it had been hallowed. And they also gifted a full bouquet of black roses, which is just like, you know, super awesome in our flower code. Super awesome.
Yeah, and thing is, we
probably the best thing.
Yeah, and it was a shame, because then we were like, so we went up and we were like, we'll go to the Imperial Orcs and we'll go and say thank you and have a speak to the Red Hands and whatnot. But by the time we got around to it, we went up to the Imperial Orcs and they were having their whatever meeting they were having. So the whole
is it what's it called? They're standing? No,
that's Navarre.
It's Navarre.
Yeah.
Mutes Wintermark, Standings Navarre. They were having their.
It was a national meeting anyway. They were having this thing, and they weren't letting any humans in, doing orc things. You know, it's that way. You're just like, when are they going to be done? They're like, I don't know. They've already been going for hours. They might be going for even more. Like,
that was about the Imperial Orc. There was like, I don't know. I'm going a while. Probably a bit longer. Great.
We're like, okay. So we never got round to going to see the orcs.
So yeah, that was incredible. And then like after all of that, we ended up then heading to the we ended up heading down to Whispers, because there was some Whispers happening.
I'm just remembering all the stuff that happened on Saturday, man. Yeah.
Because we had to go to Whispers because you had a task to do and I had a task to do, and both of us had to speak to Lady Morrigan about the task. Lady Morrigan was at Whispers, so we were like, let's go there.
Yeah, let's all go to Whispers. So we went to I've never seen a Whispers through the Black Gate, because I've always got something else to do, and I'm not a mage or part of the coven anyway, so I've never actually seen one being done. So yeah, we grabbed there, and then so I was asked to go and meet a Jotun Godi who was coming to Anvil. He'd been invited, I think, to Anvil. So Killian Mortaire had been talking with this Godi. So from my understanding, the Godi are like the spiritual leaders of the Jotun. So he had been given what would the name be, like amnesty, like diplomatic immunity type thing to come into Anvil. This happens a lot. People that we're at war with, they're allowed to come in, basically, and they're protected. So this Godi was coming to Anvil. Killian had been having correspondence with this Godi, and so had a lot of other people, mainly Wintermarkers. So this Godi was coming to Wintermark, and I was to go there in Killian's stead. I took one of our Yofolk, Lachlan, with me, sorry, and we went off to see the Godi. Do you want me to tell the story of the Godi, and then you tell what you did?
Yeah, you go for it.
Yeah, this was quite fun because it was I had taken like pre-skills, and I'm like, I knew that Damon was going to be very a very religious, even though he's not technically he is technically a priest because he has priest skills, but he doesn't have, he hasn't got into that that part of, like, he hasn't been in that, I'm going to say the game, but he's not in that part of the world yet where he's like going to priest meetings, or he's got a congregation, or he preaches. He's just very he's just very religious when it comes to the way. So he's dedicated to loyalty. So I did do a bit of research for him. I was like, I want to know what he thought about. He had way more developed. Damon's got way more developed opinions about the way and its place in, or humanity's place in the world when it comes to the way, than Godric ever did. So this was a good opportunity actually to go and go meet with this Godi. When I got there, and there was a lot of keen, because obviously I had just been asked like the day before, oh yeah, will you go because Killian's not here, not at Anvil. I was like, yeah. When I got there, and there was loads of like Wintermarkers, like really keen, like really wanted to talk to this Godi. And the conversation, so basically I gave the Godi some letters that Killian had written, and people were then basically, it's just like a little cultural exchange thing, but it was what was going on. It was cool being there, the only Dawnish people there as well, and I was just like standing front and center as well. It was quite funny because they all had they were all excited being, because they were talking about Summermuse, who is I don't know much about this part of history. Like, out of character, I don't actually know much Wintermark history. I don't know much about Summermuse. I don't know. So I think basically the crux of the conversation was about paragons and exemplars, which we've talked about on this podcast before. So the way is all about, it's a reincarnation religion, and you have an immortal soul, and every time you die, you go through this labyrinth. You get on the other side of the labyrinth, you're then reborn into a human vessel again. Now, depending on how virtuous you are, will dictate, how fast you go through that labyrinth. If the practitioners of the way decide that you are an exemplar of a specific virtue, if you become an example of that specific virtue, then you can become an exemplar. And then you can actually ascend and become a paragon, and you can ascend the labyrinth, basically, which is like, even though we don't talk about destiny, and that's not really, it's not a virtue, basically the destiny of the human race is to all become paragons, basically. That's kind of, in a nutshell, that's kind of what we think in the way. So the main conversation that was being had was whether Summermuse should be an exemplar, and there was like, we were talking about statues, and it was how we look at our ancestors, because it was as much of a orc human conversation as it was a Jotun the way conversation, basically, because the Godi was talking a lot about how he hears his ancestors, and all orcs like they hear their ancestors the same way as the Imperial orcs. I mean, it would have been interesting to have an Imperial orc there, because knowing what I know about the Imperial orcs and then hearing it from a Jotun point of view was really interesting. But But then also I was it was really interesting out of character, but in character I knew exactly what I thought about the way. And even though Damon goes, yeah, I have an open mind, nah. There is only the what it's called the way for a reason. It is the way. Okay, and I stuck a few things. I think I did all right. There was a few, because obviously a lot of people had lined things up to say, and I just appeared, so I was like, we're not going to hang around. I think I said to Lachlan, I was like, we're not going to hang around long, because I don't really want to be like Killian's into all this, like just talking about this for hours on end. We've got other shit to do, basically. So I stood there, they started, and then the thing that caught the interest was how the ancestors, how they learn from their ancestors, when sometimes if they're doing something, they work off instinct and they can hear their ancestors, but they don't get to choose, and they can't talk back to their ancestors. And I was like, well, we can go see our ancestors. We have past life visions. We've literally lived, and also we have two types of ancestors. And then this was brought up by other people, though, the fact that they were like, well, you have the human beings have their soul ancestry, as in you've lived another life in the past in another human vessel, but also you have your genetic ancestry. We didn't use the word genetics, but you have your blood ancestry, right? So you literally have your blood mother and father and your grandparents and what they did, so I tried my best to basically be like, I tried to work glory in there, and I was like, yeah, well, we don't talk forward, we don't look back and listen. We can talk to our future ancestors. You might be listening to yours, but we can talk to we have the ability to go. We can look back with past life visions and with stories. We don't need to hear them in our heads, because we have oral tradition of stories. We know that, and then we can create stories to tell to our ancestors further down, because great deeds are eternal, and that's literally what glory is. And then I was like, okay, I've said that, and then
I've said my piece.
No, it was good. It was really interesting. I really enjoyed that part of the game, and I like the religion side of the game, and I think Damon will end up going down that way. I don't know how political he'll go with it. I don't know, but I felt very comfortable in that role play space, and it was really good as well. It was nice that obviously, like, Morrigan had given, because Killian wasn't there, and given me that bit of role play to do with the new character as well, just something to go do, and also go to Wintermark, because I never get to go to Wintermark. But anyway, two of our other house members had finished Whispers, came over, and then we were like, we turned around and started discussing it, and I was just like, yeah, it's just a waste of time, really. What it was. Well, I mean, come on,
Loudly in the Wintermark Cup. Well, this was a waste of time.
Yeah, because basically, as an orc, you don't get to choose which ancestors speak to you. There could be some absolute moron that died because he didn't tie his boots up properly, and he's speaking to you, and he's like, "What do I do in my life?" And this idiot orc is going, "Do this," and they can't speak, they can't even ask. They're just walking along, and they just hear an ancestor, and they're like, "Oh no," That's Damon's point of view. But anyway, what were you up to?
Oh my god! So Dad and we both stayed and watched the Whispers for a bit. I explained to Dad what Whispers were. The person that was being whispered, I actually knew who they were, and how they died. So I was explaining that to him. And we watched as Morrigan was bringing them forward and everything. And Morgan had already asked me earlier in the night to go to Earl's Council, because there was an opportunity for houses to put forward their most glorious knight errant for this competition, to be named the most glorious knight errant. And we were putting forward a knight errant from our house. And Morgan asked if I could do it because she had Whispers on at the same time. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that then. I was a bit nervous about this. I had no idea what to expect.
I know. I'm pretty sure you just thought, because you said, "Oh, I don't know," and I said, "Well, I mean, I can do it if you don't want to do it." Because I kind of expected people just to be like, "Oh, I'm just going to go there and be like, oh, we're just going to put names forward." But then you told me what happened after. I was like, "Oh, glad I wasn't there."
Well, you were, well, yeah. So I went and I grabbed Morgan just before she went. And I was like, you were going to tell me what to say because she had things that she wanted me to specifically say. And I like shorthanded them all down as fast as I could. I was like, right, okay, and I'll head back there. And I was like, I was like, what time's it on? And she's like, oh yeah, it's 8:30 it starts. I was like, oh, lots of time. That's fine. 8:30, fine. So I kind of start heading over there, and we're getting like just this front about 8:10 at this point. And I was like, there's a whole load of people in the Grendal tent. I'm going to go and check this notice board. It started at 7. So I kind of went in. Dad came in with me and he kind of stayed at the door at the entrance to the Grendal tent and watched from there. And I went over and I saw a seat just behind the egregore. So I sat there and I like tapped her shoulder and I was like, hey, I've been asked to come and do this thing. I'm a character. I'm not too sure what I'm meant to be doing. Am I too late? She was like, and then instantly went, we have another one to add to the list. And I was like, oh shit, okay.
Oh no.
And I watched. I was like, it'll be fine. I'm assuming I just write the name down or just tell you the name. And then I watch as people are standing up and giving speeches and, like, dare I say it, almost performances about these knight errants. I was like, crap.
Oh no, I can't just be like, yeah, we'll just our knight errant's the best.
Oh, I must have looked terrified because she was like trying to encourage me. They went, okay, who's next? And there was me and one other person. I was like, and they stood up first. I was like, yeah, you can go first. I was like, come on, what's your character? Get into character. You can do this.
Also, yeah, like you had literally just got the information like a few minutes before as well. You were like,
what? Minutes before. I was so scared.
Improv.
Okay, and then it was my turn. I was like, I can do this. I put the notebook down because everybody had a notebook and they're reading from it. I was like, no, put my notebook down. I'm going to do this. And I stood up. I was like, I didn't know what the rules were or anything. Everybody was standing in their spot, but there was it's a big tent. So I started walking up and down and making sure I got everyone's eye contact as I told these tales of this glorious knight errant. Luckily, my previous character witnessed some of these deeds.
Yeah, I don't think they mind just like mentioning it. It's like it's the Nat, right? So it's
the Nat.
Yeah, we talked about the Nat in our death scenes. So.
Oh yes. So I'm like talking about the Nat, and I am really, really bigging him up and talking about all the incredible things he has done and the things he's yet to do. And I made it like a big performance. And I was trying to get like eye contact from certain people. And all I remember is Valentine's face. It's this huge cheesy smile from ear to ear watching. And then it got to the end, it was all done and everything. I was like, oh, phew, glad that's over. And the girl was like, sure you don't want to do some troubadour stuff? And I'm like, I'd quite like to do some troubadour stuff. That was the single most terrifying thing I have done yet at LARP. And yes, I am including the Siaka Herald in single combat in that situation.
Oh no, yeah, because
that was terrifying.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I didn't go to do that because I probably could have gone, oh yeah, I think this because of this, but I don't know if I could do a troubadour style. This is what I think type thing, the Geoffrey Chaucer type, like, have you heard the tale of, yeah. Sometimes going to the Fresh Prince about this.
Siaka Herald with teeth covered.
It's a story all about how. I mean, it was good that you seemed like you were like, oh, it was terrifying, but you were like, I enjoyed it though. So
I was pretty hyped up. Yeah, I my heart was racing. So yeah, at this point here, I kind of came back and I was like, oh my God, Dad had already gone off. So I'm assuming he was at the tent at that point. And I was like, oh, I'll do a quick loop around to just see if you're done in Wintermark yet. And that's when we like basically walked into each other. Yeah.
Yeah, we all met. So this must have been around about the time then that there was more drama going on.
Nope, not yet.
No. So
nope. Something else happened first.
Oh really? Oh, did we? Oh, we went off to.
I have the list.
Oh, you have the. I'm sorry, you have the list of order.
Dude, I've got this. So we went back to the tent and we were all like, whoa, we were talking about it, get excited.
I wasn't that
until a member of House Griffin's song comes running in.
Because we forgot we were invited to a special shindig.
We were invited to something.
Oh yeah, we have important
Mm.
people. You know, we have important things to do. You know, um,
So we got taken off to the league, given seats to sit down in, and we got to watch some incredible performances, um, including two performances by people who have been previous podcast guests. We had Kate dancing, and I already knew that Kate was an awesome dancer, but to actually see it in person, yeah, that was really good. I like that.
yeah,
And and we also had Dave up singing as well and performing.
Mercy up singing.
Well, I know
It
it's because I
wasn't
said
just Dave.
it's because I said podcast guest. I said we had Kate and Dave from the podcast.
That's the first time I've actually managed to sit down and watch. That's the thing. A lot of the time you don't actually get to sit down and watch some of these bards perform. Like this event was great for that. We managed to see so many people perform.
Oh
This
yeah.
event, it was great, and yeah, that little shindig, it was great. And again, it was in the league, so we had a night. It was proper theatre. I'm assuming that's the tent they use for all the theatre, a lot of the theatre stuff. I don't know
It
whose
looks
tent it
like it
even
because it had
was.
like the little like corner bar in it that
Hmm.
I looked like a normal like theater room where you've got the little bar in the corner so that you can go sit down, you can go back and forward for your drinks without missing anything.
Yeah.
No, it was incredible. The talent on that stage. There was people there, and one person in particular who went up to perform, and I remember you just being like, "Whoa,
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
not
That's
expecting
yeah.
that."
Again, people have like hidden talent as well. Like, one of the members of House Griffin song, like so Mercy was doing his thing, with his songs, and then as we were waiting for another bard to come, another member of House Griffin song gets up and does this stand-up comedy routine. Like I
We
was
were just
like,
like this. Oh, this was right. Okay, do you know what? This was the hardest thing in character. I am playing this character who's very much like, yes, I am this scary, noble vampire bitch ascetic that's going on here. All I wanted to do was like spit my drink out laughing at
yeah,
this.
because we were doing like the resting bitch face thing, weren't we? And it was like it was really hard because I am like out of character. I am a like slap my knees, laughing, I'm always
Yeah.
smiling, type person. And yeah, when someone suddenly got up and started like killing on stage, just of like. Especially doing like doing the Empire like in world jokes as well, which was
Yeah.
yeah, it caught me completely off guard, and it was brilliant. Like you said, dancing from Persephone was really good. We also had another bard perform, Silgor, who from the marches. I'm gonna put, like, so these are in character names: Silgor, Mercy, Summermuse. I'll put their SoundClouds down in the
Yeah.
description as well, because so like it's Silgor. That's the first time I've seen them perform. Actually, they've got a few popular ones, and it was really cool to have like in character conversations as well with some of these people, especially as a new character. There was quite a few people that we knew there, that we hadn't met as our new characters, which is a real interesting thing when you see people you recognize from your old character, and then you're like, oh, I don't have the same relationship with you, do I? That my last character had. I saw Godric's. Well, it's Damon's friend as well. But like saw Bobbert from the Marches, who was Godric and Aranel's Marcher friend. And that was really interesting to meet a character that I'm very familiar with, but then go, right, okay, what, basically, as the new character, I'm almost the one that gets to decide what relationship we have when we see each other. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That was the interesting thing, and how am I going to like uh how am I going to like signal to this other person the type of character I am now as a different person? That was like every time that came up this weekend, was really fascinating to be like, right, okay, how's this character that I know through another character's eyes going to see my new character, and this,
Yeah.
like, first impressions are very important as well. unfortunately. But you're just like, okay, no, I get to establish what this is. That was really fun. Going and talking to our leaguish friends, Marcher friends as well, in the league. We're going to stop this episode right here. We're going to continue recording, but we're going to stop and split this into 2 episodes. So if you enjoyed this show, make sure that you follow, make sure that you subscribe so you know when a new episode is posted. Until that episode is posted and we continue our final part of Empire E4, you can go check out some of our other content that we have on our channel. If you are considering coming to Empire LARP for the first time next year, we do have a referral code that will get you £15 off your first Empire LARP ticket. I'll put that down in the description below. Until the next time though, folks, we love you very much and stay safe.